Okay, so now let me show how to make this illustration, but to do it in Microsoft PowerPoint. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to add another slide. So if you have a bunch of slides like this and you just want to add another one, you can left click here on this navigation bar and you can go to Home and under New Slide, don't click the top part, click the bottom part, which has this uh, combination box that'll open up and choose blank. Okay, so add a blank slide. Once again, this slide has been formatted to be 6 inches wide and 4 inches tall, so that everything that you draw in here is going to fit on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we want to make this number line. So uh, let me go ahead and draw that. So I'll left click here. And if I left click and hold, okay, so notice that, this line is going everywhere and I could struggle to maybe get this exactly horizontal, but the best way to make a horizontal line is to hold down the shift key. And when you hold down the shift key, the line will snap to different angles. So here it's snapping to 90 degrees, 45 degrees, and here's 0. So I'm going to drag that over to about there. Okay, then I can let go of the mouse button. Now this line is too thin and I want to have arrows on both ends. So under shape styles, I'm going to click this little icon down here, which should open up the format shape vertical bar here on the right-hand side. If that doesn't come up that way, I believe what you can do is right click on the line itself and left click on Format Shape. Okay. And what's nice about this is that this will always stay up. So as you click on other things, you'll see the options that you can change for it here on the right-hand side. All right. So the first thing I can do with this is here we're looking at the fill and line options. So under line options here, right, I can expand it. It's a solid line and I want to change the color. I want to change the color. So let's change the color to black. There we go. And the width, let's make that maybe 2 point. All right. And down here is when we can put the arrow types. So the beginning arrow type and the ending arrow type. So if I click here, we can see the beginning arrow type is nothing. Let me change it to, let's change it to this arrow. There we go. And let's change the right arrow type to the same thing. Now I want this arrow to be a little bit larger, and that's where you have control over the arrow size. So you can see that here, so we can make that maybe a little bit bigger. Let's maybe make it that big. That looks better. And then the end arrow size, we can make it that much bigger too. All right, that looks good. All right, now we need to make these 5 tick marks here. So let's come back. And so what we'll do is we'll insert a line. Um, so there's a lot of different ways you can add tools. One way is to do it in the home menu. And when you look at the home menu, it gives you the home ribbon. And in the home ribbon, it tries to give you all of the frequently used stuff. And under the drawing subpart of this ribbon, you can add line and an arrow, as well as a bunch of other shapes too. So we could select a line here, but you could also click on Insert, and here under Shapes, if you click this caret, you can also choose those shapes here too as well. So I'm going to select a line without any arrows, and just anywhere, I'm just going to click somewhere, left click and hold. I'm going to drag down. I'm going to hold Shift key. so that it'll make a vertical line only. And let's see, I want it to be maybe about that big. Now I want this to have the same size and color. So while it's selected, I'm going to come over here to my format shape and under line, I'm going to choose solid line and make this black. And then let's make that 2 point because that was the thickness of this number line here. And I want no arrows. So this is fine. Okay. Now I'm not going to position this just yet. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's copy that 4 more times. So, um, so here I'm just going to hit copy and then I'm going to paste it. And let me paste it 4 more times. So I've got 5 copies of this thing, right? Because I need one tick mark here. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to position this first one not on the line. Okay. I don't need to do that yet, but I'm just going to place it as close to the left-hand side that I want it. Maybe somewhere right about there. And then I'm going to take this last tick mark and I'm going to put it as far over on the right-hand side that I want it to be. About like that. Okay, that looks about right. Something like that. Okay, good. Now what I can do is I can left click kind of like above to the side and above this first one. I can left click and hold, drag a selection box along all of these and select them all at once. Okay, if you have trouble doing that, you can also hold down the Shift key and left click on each object, and Shift key will keep all of those ones that you've clicked on selected. Okay. So with those selected, we can go to, let's see here. Yeah, under shape format, we can go to, I think it's align. Here we go. And choose distribute horizontally. So when we chose distribute horizontally, what it did is it took this leftmost mark and this rightmost mark and it spaced the other ones out evenly in between them. Okay, so that's cool. And then we can click on align again and we can align the tops. There we go. Okay. And now we can just use the arrow keys to maybe move this up like that. Now I think I want this center mark to line up with this center guideline. So I will shift it over to the left a little bit. Okay. So the arrow keys come in handy for making really small changes. All right, there we go. So now we've got our number line. We've got our marks here. Let's put in some text. So, here under the Home tab, this little icon here, which has a box with the letter A in it, this means we want to insert a text box. So all you need to do is select that and then click somewhere. And I want to type in the word R value. Okay, now if it automatically changes things, which is frustrating, I don't want it to automatically capitalize everything that I type. So down below this letter, there's a little bit of like a little orange mark. I don't know if you can see it. If I move my cursor down on top of it, it brings up autocorrect options. If I left click on that, I can put stop auto capitalizing the first letter of sentences. And it'll stop doing it from now on. Okay. So I'm going to select all of this and I want to make it bold. And on top of that, let's change the font to Times New Roman because Times New Roman is a very commonly used font used in technical papers and just professional papers. So let's change it to Times New Roman. There we go. So we got Times New Roman, it's bold. Let's change the font size maybe to a little bit smaller, like 16, and then we can reposition it. Now, something that is a little frustrating is that eh, I like to have the edges of my text box actually closer to the text itself. Okay. And so where you can change that is if you look at the shape formatting properties of this. Now you can right click and choose Format Shape. Okay, it's going to bring up these shape options. And let's see, I think if we come over here to Size and Properties, this icon, which looks like a box with a cross in it and two little horizontal and vertical dimensioning lines, if we left click on that, let's see here, we've got Size, we've got Position, and we've got text box options. And here under text box, let's see here. I don't want to resize. Oh, I could let it resize. That'll be fine. But you see under here under left margin, I can change the left margin to be 0. And notice how that padding went away. And I can change the right margin to also be 0. And now that padding has gone away. I could also change the top margin to be 0 and the bottom margin to be 0. And now this bounding text box is closer in, kind of hugging the text a little bit better. Okay, so I kind of like that a little bit better. All right, so our number line is for values of R. So I put R value there. Now we need to put in -1, 0, and +1. So let's go ahead and put that in. So I'm just going to take this text box and I'm going to left click and select it, and I'm going to copy and paste it. That way it'll keep the black formatting of the font and it'll keep this font as Times New Roman. I just need to come in here and change it to -1. And I can kind of reposition it, something like that. Now I can take this and I can copy and paste it, drag it over here, and change that to a 0. Okay. What's kind of nice is that Microsoft PowerPoint, you can kind of see it's putting like some guidelines here across the top and the bottom and down the middle. It's snapping to other objects that I've got listed here. And so that's kind of telling me this object is lined up with that one. Okay, let me take this, let me copy and paste it because I want +1 here on the right-hand side. So let me make that a positive like that. There we go. Just like that. All right. Okay. Now we need vertical lines to serve as boundaries. So let's put those in next. So we're going to come over here to our drawing tools, and I'm going to draw a line. And I don't have to worry about positioning it perfectly. I just want to draw a vertical line that's straight. So I'm going to left click and hold, hit the shift key so I can make a perfectly vertical line. And let's make it maybe about that long. All right, then we'll come over here to our format shape options. So I'll come over here to the line options. Remember, if this is collapsed, we can expand it. Okay, it's a solid line. Let's make it black. Let's make it also 2-point width. But let's change the type of it. Instead of being a solid line, let's make it a dashed line like that. So under dash type, we can click this combo box and make it dashed like that. All right. Um, so let's take that and we can drag it over. There we go. Now let's go ahead and copy that and paste it and put it over here like that. And let's take these two. So I'm going to left click the first one, hold down the shift key, click the second one, and I'm going to click this arrange button here. So I can click it here, or I can go to Shape Format and choose Align, and I can align the tops just to make sure that they're aligned here. Um, okay, I also need to put negative R crit and positive R crit. So let me take this text and let me copy and paste that. And let me come in here and I'll put capital CRIT. And let's make that a negative. Now I want to put crit as a subscript. So I can left click and select this part of the text box. I can come up here to font, okay, and I can left click this little box here. That's in the lower right hand corner. Okay, sorry, it's right here. And I can choose subscript and click OK. All right, and let me drag that over. Now let me copy and paste that, and I'll bring that over here, and then I'll make the negative a positive. There we go. And I also want the word RSAMP. So I'm going to take this, select the text box, copy and paste, drag it down here, and I'm going to change this part of it to SAMP, and then delete that part. Oh, and it's not going to be positive or negative. It's just going to be RSAMP. There we go. All right, looks good. All right, now we need to create this text, which is good estimator, bad estimator, good estimator again. So we're going to take this text box, and let's copy and paste it. Drag it up here. And let me go ahead and resize this. Oh, it won't because I set it to, what did I set that to? I set it to resize the shape to fit text. So that's fine. All right, so let me rename this. This is going to be a good. If I can type, a good estimator. And this is going to be with a 95% confidence level passing. All right, let me make this just a little bit bigger. All right. Oh yeah, and I spelled that wrong. Okay, there we go. And let me hit enter a couple of times to get a little bit of spacing in the middle. There we go. And let's see here. I want this text to be formatted down the middle. So I want it to be formatted down the middle. So right here under the home menu, under the paragraph sub-ribbon, I can justify this center. Okay, so that lines it up center-wise. Let me move this over. And I generally don't like to have colors, okay, in illustrations, but if you're going to put a color, make it as dark as possible so that when it gets converted to black and white, um, it'll still come out dark. So let's make this maybe a dark green, something like that. Okay. Um, Now the other thing we need to add is I want to add an arrow showing that it's everything from this border over. Okay. So what we could do, and let's draw another arrow. That's fine. So I'm going to go to drawing, select arrow, left click and hold down the shift key to make a perfectly horizontal line. Let me make this, well, make it green this time, like that. I'll make this maybe 1.5 point, not quite as thick. And I'll make it with these arrowheads this time. And I'll position it maybe somewhere in the middle. And let's see, that's one too many spaces. Let me take this one out. That looks better. Okay, good. Now I'm going to take these two objects. So if you can't see, what I did is I selected the line, then I'm selecting the text and I'm holding the shift key down. And I'm going to right click this and choose group. So it's going to treat this now as one object. So now if I come back to home and I copy and paste that, I can now put this on the other side. Okay, just about like that. And if I want to make sure that these are even, I can left click and hold the shift key down, select these two at the same time, and I can put arrange, align, top, and I can align their tops. Okay. All right, now I need in the middle for it to say bad estimator. So I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to copy and paste it, put it over here in the middle, something like that, and just change the word good, the bad. And let me go ahead and ungroup this. So I'm going to select this grouping. I'm going to right click, go to group and choose ungroup. Okay, so now this text box and this line are now two separate objects. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave this alone. I will change the text to red. Okay, but I'm going to make it a dark red. That's not dark enough. Let me choose more colors. Make it darker, something like that. And then this line, okay, I'm going to grab the handle here, left click and hold. Now, if I hold the shift key down, it'll make it, kind of stretch along a horizontal bearing. So I can stretch this to be a little bit longer and keep the line horizontal. And here under shape format, it's a solid line. I can change the color to this recent color I made, which is red. There we go. And let me go ahead and select this text again, right click, and I'll group it. And let me see if I can align this with these other two. So I'll choose align top. Okay, and that'll align these in the middle as well. Okay, good. So we got that there. What we need now are these curved arrows. So to make a curved arrow, we want to use maybe this curved line right here. So I'm going to left click that. And let's see here. I think if I left click and hold, oh boy. Yeah, that's not quite what we want. Let me delete that. That's not the one we want. Let's try this one here. Okay, this one has a little bit more of an extra curve in it. So let's see here. If I left click once, okay, um, then I can click a second time somewhere right about here. And then if I double click a third time, it'll end the line like that. Okay. Um, so this looks like a pretty good curve. Now what I can do is I can change the options of the shape. So it's a solid line. Let's make sure that it's black. And let's make it maybe 1.5 point thickness. And let's put an arrow on the end. So we want, I think, an end arrow type. Let's make it this one. Okay, that looks good. Okay, that looks good. Now, a trick we want to make another copy of this, a mirror image of this on the other side. So let's take this arrow and let's copy and paste it. Okay, let's move that over. And let's come over here to the shape options. Let me show you a trick. So we'll click here under size and properties, and notice that this has a width of 1.6. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this left control point here, and I'm going to left click and hold, drag that over to the other side, and let go. Now, the width of this is 1.31, but if I change it to be 1.6 and hit enter, now it has the same width as this one, and it's now a mirror image of the other. There we go. Now, I think I liked this one, so I'm going to paste another copy of it. And I'm just going to shrink this down. And that's going to be the other arrow that's kind of pointing in this direction. Let me see here. Let's look at these dimensions. Let's make it 1/2 inch wide. So I'm going to put 0.5 there. And let's maybe make this, if I make this 0.5 high, how does that look? Not quite right. Let's change that to maybe 0.75. Okay, that's a little bit better. I can accept that. That's good. And let's do the same trick we just did. So let's make a copy of that, paste it. Okay, we want to make a mirror image. So I'm going to grab this middle control point, noting that this is 1/2 inch wide. I'm going to drag this, flip it over, and then change the width to 0.5. There we go. And then I'm just going to kind of drag it and position it right there. That looks good. Okay, now we just need to put those question marks around it. And I think maybe the easiest way to do it is we'll take this text that we got here, we'll copy and paste it, and let's change this text to be a question mark. Okay, like that. And let's add some of that padding back. So let me click on under format shape. Let me click on size and properties, come down to the left margin, and let me put a left margin of 0.02. Let me do a little bit more, 0.05. There we go. And let's do that again here for the right margin, 0.05. There we go. Now the reason why I did that is because I'm going to fill this box. I think I have to do that under shape format, right here under shape fill. Let me fill that with maybe, yeah, I'll just fill it with black. Okay. And you're like, wait, where's my question mark? Well, go back to the home menu, and here under font, we can change the font color to white. And now let's drag that maybe over here, something like that. And let's copy and paste that a couple times and position these question marks, maybe one here, one here, and maybe one there. Let me move this to be maybe in a similar place, like that. Okay, so I think we've done a pretty good job of recreating this illustration, and in fact, I like this one better. So I would I would use this one instead. Um, okay, so now we've got this one done. What we want to do is we want to select everything and group it. So I dragged a selection box around everything and let go. And under the shape menu, we can come over here to group and put group. Now, the reason why this is good to do is now we can right click on this and you can save it as a picture. See this option, save as picture? And now what you can do is you can come here to, maybe your temp directory or your downloads directory, anywhere you want. And now you can call this, so this would be maybe like an R critical value, um, good, bad, estimator, illustration. And you can have it as a PNG file or you can change it to a JPEG. I kind of prefer JPEG and just save it. And now that it's saved to your computer, you can import this into your report. All right, so this is just a quick little tutorial about how you can use the drawing tools to make a simple illustration that will be good enough for even professional publication. Let me know if you have any questions.